Voy a dar paso al siguiente panel que vamos a hablar también
Let's
de
start with a new
energía.
panel. We're also going to talk about energy, but from the biofuels perspective. This is sponsored by Ecopetrol. I want to invite Luis Javier Hoyos, the head of the Innovation Center and Technology from Ecopetrol.
Gracias.
Thank you.
First
First of all, thank you for the organizers for this invitation. It's a great pleasure for us to be here with you guys. I want to comment about that you were talking about earlier. I do have a PhD. I work in the industry, but for us, the industry, the R&D that doesn't become a specific application or product is wasted money. And that's an issue where both industrials and academics, we have to find good bridge. The universities have to be more flexible. They have to understand that there are industrial needs that have priorities, that we're fighting against time, we are competing, and we have to understand that we have to gamble on high-risk topics. And this is my talk. This is something that, due to corporate reasons, I have to add to my presentation. What this means is basically we're bringing the best information that we have. And if something that you see that you don't like, please don't sue me or my company. It's very simple. We're going to take a fast group to biofuels. Biofuels, as humanity, we have a problem in this area. If we keep consuming energy at the speed that we are doing it, and with the technologies that we have today, the temperature and the planet is going to increase by 6 Celsius degrees in the next 50 years. If we implement the commitments that the different countries and nations have done around the climate change, we are going to increase the temperature by 4 degrees. So today we have to start working so that the temperature will not rise over 2 Celsius degrees, and it doesn't miss some changes in the atmosphere. For that, we have to make a big effort that goes from the optimization of the energies and the technologies that we use today for the energy use and include new technologies. And this is where the biofuels take an important role. I don't know how to point to the screen anyway. What we expect if we keep to the 450 scenario is that by 2040, 1 barrel of biocombustibles will come from biofuels, and the market will be huge, and there's a big potential for us to be there. The second thing is today, and I think this is the most important message that I want to give you today, is there are many concepts, many ideas of production of biofuels. Every day there are new concepts and new ideas. We have to explore them, we have to validate them. The ones that will not work will die. The ones that work, they will have a push to keep moving on towards an application and eventually become a commercial application. I'm sorry if I'm going to be a little technical here. There are some proved technologies here. We have production of alcohol, ethanol, and biodiesel, but there are many other developed technologies, some more than the other ones, some biological concepts, and some parts have to do with thermochemical concepts, and therefore there's a lot of work in terms of R&D about those technologies. We're going to go really fast through the 3 technologies that we see have the biggest potential. First is the production of ethanol. We are not using sugars or yeast, and now we're using biomass completely. This has a big amount of challenges. I'm not going to detail a lot of this, but today this technology is almost commercial, in that the leaders who are Avengo, DuPont, Iogen, these companies, they started semi-commercial industrial plants, thousands of gallons per year. So we are now in the latest stages of that technology. However, there are still big challenges. For example, it has to be a low cost and efficient treatment, even if the Department of Energy in the United States have done a lot of energy. The pre-treatment of the biomass, the cellulose, it's a natural polymer. There has some problems of surplus. We have to break that structure without damaging it for the effects of production of ethanol. So there's a challenge there. The other one is, and that is being developed basically in agro center companies. We have to have biomasses that have a high content of cellulose, which are the elements that will produce the element that they have a relatively low content of lignina, which is a poison. Also, we have to keep working on microorganisms that are more active and selective. The second technology is everything about having oils and being able to treat them with hydrogen and creating a good quality diesel. And beyond that, being able to produce jet starting from vegetable or recycled oils. There are a lot of people working on that. We even have some patents in that area. And the leaders here are basically companies such as Neste, UOP, Halder Topside. There's a technology that's a little behind than the ones we just commented, which is the pyrolysis of biomass. This is the end or the latest topic in terms of biofuels. Last year I went to the Congress of Chemical Engineers in the United States, and I'm telling you that 70% of the presentations in the sessions for energy and were about these topics. There are some complex topics about this technology. This material is put through high temperatures. We break the molecules, but it generates a bunch of problems because there's oxygen left from all those molecules that are created. This generates several problems, including incompatibility. Therefore, we're working in improving the performance of this technology, and then how to treat this oil, how to give some properties that we will be able to use so they will be compatible with the traditional fuels. There's another challenge there that is very important. It's not reported in the literature, but I think it's going to be a critical issue in the future, and it's that with the pyrolysis and the following treatments, residual waters are produced with a lot of contaminants, so the treatments of those waters is going to be an important topic in the following years in R&D conversation. The leaders here are UP, NC, Dynamotive, and Vergent. They are currently working in the development of those technologies and also in the treatment of the oils that come out of it. I want to show you here how we are working the oil companies. We understand that social responsibility. We're trying to keep the environment. Most of us are incorporated in our portfolio biofuel issues. Some companies are doing it from the point of view or purchasing companies or shares of companies in the production of ethanol or biodiesel, and we are included in that group. As many of you know, we have 50% of a production plant of biodiesel, and we have 88% of a production plant of ethanol from sugar cane. This is a project that will begin operations in the beginning of the next year in Colombia. But there are companies such as Valero, Petrobras, BP, who are in the business of plants of ethanol production. Other companies have taken on the option of purchasing startups, getting shares of startups of companies with emerging technologies and who have interesting concepts. For example, Shell, Chevron, ExxonMobil, and other companies that have some research and development programs that are interesting, among them Neste Oil, and what I will show you soon that we're doing. So nowadays, the oil companies, as one of our, these are one of the main actions to investigate and develop. Here I want to do a little thing. As a country, we're a leader in terms of fuels. We have in the Colombian specification specs, we want to have 10% of ethanol in our gasoline. And we also have a limitation of 10% of biodiesel in the diesel for the whole country, but today we're actually reaching 7%. There's one thing I want to point out here. While the developed countries are interested in the raw materials that they have locally, for example, sugarcane in the United States, and in Europe, trees and some grasses, we have some raw materials that are different from the ones they have. What we have here very abundantly are other things, and just that fact makes us have to develop R&D programs in biofuels in Colombia, because the technologies that they're doing are done for other raw materials, for other uses, right? So from the industry point of view, I would like to see a conscientious program that is very strong and aggressive in terms of biofuels, because the country has very exceptional conditions. We have water, we have sun, we have lands that we can take advantage of. We have the possibility to generate welfare for our population using our biofuels resources. I want to tell you here that Colciences has done some research that shows what are the raw materials with the biggest potential in Colombia, and these are basically sugar cane. There's about 200,000 tons per year. The palm, rachis of palms, which is the residuals of the African palms, and then the plantain residuals. These are the three biomasses with the largest production in Colombia. In the case of the plantain, we have an area where there's a high concentration of production of this plantain, which is in Urabá, Antioquia. We started a program of investigation of biofuels since 2006, approximately. During the first stages of that program, we worked a lot. I have 2 minutes left. We work in the hydro-treatment of oils. And from that, we developed 3 industrial tests that were successful. We have a series of requests for patents, and we already got one of them. Basically, what we are discussing right now, working with the ministries, is the taxes issues. Unfortunately, we have this type of taxes issues, so we're talking about those right now. But we're also working for some time. Not all about research and development goes well. When we started working with the financial area, remember, I do a lot of this because I'm a part of the industry. We canceled this type of programs, but I want to leave a message for you here. I think if you don't apply genetics engineer for algas, I don't think there will be a technology that we will be able to use in the future. We also work in the oleominases. We have some patents we are doing on an industrial test. We also worked in glycerin, but because of lack of time, let's move forward. Let's look at the future instead. What we're working on right now, we're working into things. Ethanol and linocellulose with quecotelos, pyrolysis of biomass, and renewable energy. We're doing this with the collaboration of the Department of Energy in the United States, with Renewable Energies Laboratory, the most important laboratory in the world. I agree with what we were talking about earlier. If you don't work with the best, and in our own experience, in 8 years with the National Laboratory, in 8 years with the National Laboratory of Renewable Energy, if we were by ourselves, we would have taken 5 years, and at the end, we would have gotten to the solution that we would have gone back to this laboratory. So it's not about reinventing the wheel, it's about working with the one who knows best. And what we are working on right now is the scaling proofs with the Renewable Energy Laboratory, and our focus tonight is going to be palm rachis. And they actually did an agreement with us. They have a different agreement with us. That's what we're saying. Let's collaborate with them. So you have to have an incentive for someone to collaborate with you. As for Biojet, we worked with French Institute of Petroleum. Last year, we did a lot of pilot tests. We have the conditions that we need for the production of Biojet. We have the catalyzer. The most interesting that we found at that point. Now we're working in terms of a financial evaluation and seeing if we are able to do a business model for the production of biojets. And in biomass pyrolysis, we're working in collaboration with the French Institute and Dynamotive, and also with the National University of Medellin. We are collaborating in the pyrolysis topic and working with the treatment of the pyrolysis oil with the French Institute of Oil. This is going to be what we want to show is the concept and how the material balances, and see if we can do something that's attractive. I'm sorry, I'm taking 3 more minutes. So conclusions, biofuels an alternative to reduce the effect of the gases of the effect invernadero. Second is there's a big amount of emerging technologies in terms of R&D. There's a big amount of opportunities. Some are good, some are bad, but there are a lot of opportunities in this area, in this sector. All companies are looking at the biofuels issues, and we are willing to collaborate and to have a partnership with those who have good ideas, and we are very committed with the biofuels issues. We have production plants, and we also have an R&D programs that is very solid. I had 10 minutes. I could be talking for 3 days, but I took 2 extra minutes. Thank you.